That was way too quick. There's no way you hit the right
You're
button.
on.
Are you sure you did? All right.
I can't see. Can you see the screen?
I can edit this part out if you're not ready.
I swear you need one of those lights that says on air whenever you click.
You can't
Whatever
do that.
You click,
I
that
mean,
way
you
that
could.
you know that it's on.
You could with like these buttons, and then something would click on, but I don't think that's possible with this.
Blake, have you got stats?
I do, sir.
Captain Grooms, have you got numbers for January?
Yes, sir.
Do we need to introduce our guest first
I think
before
we
we
need
get
to
started?
before we get started.
Let's introduce our guest first
Yes,
before
sir.
we start talking about stats. Look at Tia. Tia's cutting her eyes over here. Introduce yourself, Tia.
I'm Tia McDowell. I'm the ER director over at Southern Tennessee Lawrenceburg.
And Allison.
I'm Allison Cunningham. I used to be a Moore. I'm known here as a Moore. And I'm over at Southern Tennessee Regional Hospital in Lawrenceburg. I do all the growth and outreach.
I always want to say I never get your title right. I always say community liaison or something.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's never right. Growth and outreach.
Growth
and outreach.
So what did that take over? Like, I mean, did that take over marketing and...
No, we have had this position. It's actually a very unique position to the hospital that we take on this role of making sure that all the clinics that are employed and independently owned know that they can come to me to make sure, like, if there's any obstacles that are in the way for them getting any business to our hospital, I take care of it. So I'm like a problem solver. That's another word you could use.
Yeah, I can remember that.
I'll write that
Problem
down.
solver.
It's not marketing. A lot of people think it's marketing, but we have a new marketing coordinator, Courtney Alexander. Her name is Dillard. I know everybody has maiden names, so, but she's now at the hospital. It's been about a week, and we are so excited to have marketing because a lot of good things are happening and it's not getting shouted out from the rooftops. So we've got her to do that now.
Well, good.
And she came in with a paper
I did.
and said that we made the front page. We, not you, but we,
We're
the
all-
sheriff's department.
You're in there
I'm
somewhere.
not on there, but it's the Citizens Academy. We're accepting applications for the Citizens Academy.
I had
starting-
somebody ask me the other day, what are the qualifications? And that's kind of the first response that I
You
get.
mean the minimum standards?
Right. Is there anything that would disqualify somebody from going to the sheriff's
Well,
academy?
something on a background,
Okay.
because everybody's got to pass a background. So if
Okay.
you've got an aggravated felony on your record, you probably don't want to waste our time and apply for it.
Gotcha.
But I mean, if it's just something, I mean, if it's traffic stuff, that's acceptable, as long as there's something not major on your, and that starts in May. It's 12 weeks, kind of like our academy, except that it's one night a week, and I don't remember the night, but it's like 4 hours that one night a week, and it's a different topic, similar to our 12-week police academy. You have a week where you where we go down the range and fire some of our patrol rifles and shotguns and pistols. And then we have driving week, where we go set up like a serpentine. I think we do that at Murray, Ohio. And then we have a week of criminal investigations, week of patrol. I mean, it's just all the stuff that we go through. And I mean, it's a good time. I'm usually there on the first night to welcome everybody, and then we have K9 week. And I don't know who our K9 handler is going to be, but I always like to show up for that. And then firearms week, and I'll be there at the end to help hand out certificates. But we need some turnout because the last couple of years the turnout's been low. So if y'all know somebody, or
I'm interested.
if you want to come do it, y'all went through it, or didn't you or Charlotte did?
Charlotte and Molly did. That was when I was pregnant with Cal, so I didn't get to go through
I
it.
got you.
I about took out a lot.
I mean, not that I couldn't go through it, I just would have missed part of it.
Like on purpose?
No, it was not on purpose. That is when it was yelled multiple times. Grooms, fast does not always mean quick. And oh my gosh, I did. I was like, I almost lost control. And I took out like 15 cones, and I mean that light pole looked like it was 5 times the size it normally is, and it just kept getting closer.
How
and
did you
closer.
pass?
Well, I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I ran through it another time. Yeah, I was a new call.
He paid
What
somebody.
makes mistakes? I
Under
made
the
one
table.
once. I made one a couple years ago. I was gonna look at one more thing.
Well,
Did y'all vote?
Yes,
By the way-
I voted yesterday.
Did you?
We
Good.
did last week.
Yeah, early voting ended yesterday. That's important. I'm always going to put you on the spot when it comes to voting, just because I'm such a big believer in it.
So,
Take over while I'm hunting that story
yes.
again.
Well, we know what Allison does. Tia, what do you do?
I'm the Director of Emergency Services, and I'm the Inpatient Rehab Nursing Manager at the hospital.
So, inpatient nursing rehab. What does that mean for those of our viewers that are not familiar with the medical world?
So a lot of people don't know that we have an inpatient rehab unit at our facility, and it's in the hospital, which is a little confusing, but it's a separate license, a separate entity. It's LifePoint Rehab. It used to be Kindred. There's an affiliation now, and we're licensed for 10 beds. And we get a lot of patients that typically could go to the nursing home to receive physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, whatever type of therapy they may need, post-stroke, post-surgery. Typically they're there between 7 to 14 days. So people would like to come to us sometimes better than going to the nursing home. You know, you just have the stigma behind the nursing home sometimes. So the thing is, the patients have to be able to do 3 hours of intense physical therapy, occupational therapy every day.
Now, when you say intense, you're not talking about hurdling fences or, you know.
It's not what you're doing over at the academy, no.
Okay.
But they do have to be willing to participate in therapy to be able to come. And the goal is for them to go home. So if people have a goal, I want to get a little bit better and then go to the nursing home, that's not typically what we do. We do have patients that don't progress as quickly or as much as we would like, and they end up going to the nursing home. But typically our patients come with the goal to go back home as independent as possible.
And how long have y'all been doing this?
Oh gosh, years and years. It's been there for a long time. It's not out in the community as much as we would like, so we're really hoping that Courtney, our new marketing director, will help us get this out. And it's a state-of-the-art unit. We have lots of great therapists that work back there. Dr. Vasilotti, who is one of our PCPs in town, is the medical director over the unit, so he sees the patients in the unit. And we can take a multitude of different diagnoses back there.
See, that's why I asked that, because I didn't know
Yeah.
that y'all had an intense rehab program.
Yeah,
at
it's
the
great.
hospital.
Well, let me tell you what I call her for.
Okay.
When I fall on a call,
when he needs help getting out of the car.
when I'm answering a call and I crack a rib and I drive myself to the ER and have to have help getting out of the car, or 9 out of 10 times when we talk, it's over a mental health issue,
I was thinking to say
a
that.
mental health transport, or somebody
Well,
in the
now
ER.
you flip the roles. That's what I call you for, not what you call me for.
True, but I mean, we've been known to call each other.
That's true.
Just for stuff like that. She's usually on a trip, and I've learned to text people first. So I'll text her and I'll say, "Hey, are you good for a call?" And it's, well, I'm on a cruise in the Bahamas, or I'm
That
at
happened one
an
time,
all-inclusive resort in Jamaica or something. So I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I'll just catch you when you get back. That's the usual.
And speaking of, you know, the psychiatric part of the emergency room, y'all got a good staff over there. And
We do,
as far as a law enforcement point of view, we're very appreciative because we communicate so well now that we'll walk in and just be like, "Is room 5 open?" And immediately it's what you got, you know.
That was the biggest reason why I wanted to ask them on there, because people don't know how close we have to work together and how
Yes.
important it is to have a solid relationship with not just people in the ER, but everybody at the hospital. Because if that goes south, me and you are screwed.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, because the jail will not take someone, nor should they, because it's not the proper place. Somebody who is having a mental crisis breakdown. Okay, that's one of the steps y'all provide are there, and y'all do a fantastic job when it comes to taking over. And I don't want to say a problem, but taking that problem that we have on our hands that we can do nothing with, taking it over, getting these people help. And then vice versa, when they have a problem at the ER, I know especially my team, we come running because we know they take care of us, so we need to be taken care
Walk
of.
us through, Tia, when somebody, and what's the form? I keep wanting to say SF-86, but that's a
It's
dead guy.
6404.
6404. I don't know what an SF-86
They got a
Oh, it's a
64.
Did
security
you just
clearance.
make that up?
No, it's a security clearance.
Okay.
That's the form you gotta fill out to get a security clearance. So once we do that and we drop off somebody that's obviously got some problems, what do y'all do?
So I'll start by saying that we are not a psych facility in any means. So there's lots of regulatory things that come into play when you're deemed a psychiatric facility, and we are not. So we do a lot of things to be as psych friendly as possible. We make our rooms ligature resistant, they're not ligature free, things like that. But if we have a true psych patient that you guys have brought in, the process kind of looks the same every time. And they're evaluated by the medical doctor in the ER. And before we can do anything to address the psych problem, we have to make sure there's nothing medically going on to cause this psych problem. So there's lab work, there's a urinalysis, there's an assessment and a medical screen by the doctor. And then when all of that comes back okay, blood alcohol, urine drug screen, if all that comes back fine, we can then contact a psych service for an evaluation for a consult. And for kids 17 and under, that's youth villages. They do a good job. They come out, they see the patient, or they do Skype, WebEx, whatever. And for adults, Centerstone is a really good resource that we use that will do an eval. And typically they will recommend, I think this patient needs to go inpatient for psychiatric treatment, or I think this patient could safely contract and go home. And a lot of people become upset with us because they think we're holding them against their will, we're not letting them go. And in the state of Tennessee, the doctor can sign what's called a 6404, which gives us the ability to hold someone against their will. And that also requires us, once that's signed, we're required to get that psychiatric eval. So even if 3 hours go by and the patient's like, hey, I didn't mean it, I shouldn't have said it, whatever, that we can't just let them go. Our hands are tied at this point to get that psych eval. And now if they're insured, there's a lot of places locally that we can just directly place people. Pinewood Springs is one in Columbia that we use frequently. But the uninsured, it's a really sad situation. We have to wait and wait a lot of times. We use Western Mental Health in Bolivar. They are our state facility for our district, and they're typically full. So just waiting for that person to get the help that they need that we can't provide there. And a lot of times we're just monitoring, keeping them safe till we can get them where they need to go.
I think that's probably the biggest problem with all of it is the wait time.
Oh, yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
We've gotten a little leadway with the law because we're still tasked with transporting the mental transports, the mental patients, but we can contract that out now. Problem is there's not enough people out there that want to do it. So the state gives us money to hire nothing but mental health. So I've got 2 guys right now that do nothing but mental transports, and they stay pretty busy.
We keep them on the road.
Yeah, I think we've had upwards of 40. Didn't we have 40 something that 1 month? I think
Yes.
it was last year.
Our average right now is 38 a month. That's about what we see. And their average length of stay right now and our length of stay is always in minutes in the emergency room, and it's about 600 minutes. So that's a long time.
Wait, what is
10
that?
hours.
Add that
Good
up.
job. Good job. Way to go, buddy.
Quick at math.
Are you still
He
adding?
said six times 10.
Please let that be the right number. No, that's about the only class I gave an effort in.
It was impressive.
So,
And it's not uncommon to have them greater than 24 hours. Do you know how many minutes that is?
24 hours?
1,440 minutes.
That's what I was thinking.
What about that?
Yeah.
What about that?
So you brought up something that kind of I see a little bit of it, but I don't see as much as y'all do. You spoke about children, juveniles.
Yeah.
Is it just me or are we seeing an uptick?
There's a huge uptick. So I've been in the ER now for about 7 years in this role. And I started tracking this number of psychiatric patients 17 and down when I first started because I could see then it's an issue and it's growing. And it has tripled within the 7 years. And I know this because I've just ran all this data for my state surveyor. So it's definitely a problem that we're seeing here. And then when you dig into it a little deeper, you're getting into adverse childhood events, drug use in the home, all of those things that we know is a problem here. Definitely a tough spot for us. In youth villages, is our liaison for that. They will come in, help do evals, but the follow-up and the lack of resources in the community for follow-up it's a huge hindrance to
I
get them
went
what they
to a
need.
call. I went to a call probably, I don't know, a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. It was one of those rare opportunities where a call is dispatched and I'm 10 minutes away or 5 minutes away. And it was a 14-year-old in Summertown, 14-year-old girl, foster mom came home and she was behind the door with a dog leash around her neck. Trying to hang herself, 14 years old. And it was a sad situation. And my hats are off to my deputies and your patrolmen for dealing with that on a regular basis, because I don't. But that hit home for me, you know. Of course, I wanted to take her home with me. But I think she did go for an evaluation, and then I don't know what the outcome was. But I've thought about her more times than I can count since that night, just because 14 years old.
We've had a kindergarten suicidal patient recently.
I was
Kindergarten.
thinking to say that was this one that she's talking about. That was kind of water cooler talk. Whenever that happened, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we have a 5, 6-year-old child that is thinking about making the worst decision any human being could possibly make. And they're 5 and 6. How does that happen? And then
Cell
you go
phones.
back. Well, and
I'm
I
always
believe-
going to put that off
Yeah.
on cell phones.
Social
and
media.
Social media.
It's horrible. So you touched on something again, and I was still doing arithmetic in my head. That's why I probably missed it.
6 times 10.
Right. You said that the numbers have tripled. Tripled from when? Last year, the year before, 5 years
Well,
ago?
about 7 years. I've been looking at it. I started that first year. So just a little piece of knowledge. I have to report pediatric data monthly. So how many did we see? How many kids did we see in the emergency room? How many were injury related? How many were illness related? How many DCS referrals we had? XYZ. And something I added to that report that's not required that just interests me was psych patients, whether it be suicidal, overdose, and we include those because at the end of the day, the overdose generally drills down into mental health in some way in these children. So within the past 7 years, they've tripled.
That's crazy. And that just blows my mind because my little boy is fixing to turn 5 here in about a month and 3 weeks. And I don't know if the young man has ever heard the word suicide, especially been engaged in any type of atmosphere where it was talked about or threatened. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that my household is an example to others, but I think that hits home to how bad that child's atmosphere must be if at 5 or 6 years old, he's making statements that warrant him going to the emergency room and having an evaluation.
What has happened within 6 years,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I can say that the relationship with us and y'all is better than it's ever been.
For sure.
Just because of the communication back and forth. And I know you have made a big difference in public opinion, because I hear it out there all the time on the hospital. So y'all got a lot of good things going on right now.
I think communication is everything. I mean, that's what, whenever I came into this role, I saw the disconnect. And I walked in most of the clinics and I just said, tell me what the problem is. Educate me. What's your relationship like? And there was years of just, not necessarily good things that were happening, which I knew before I left town, coming back into this role that it was going to be a challenge. But what I've seen is we just kind of peeled back the layers. We talked through it. Now they have my contact information. I think a lot of people have my contact information right now, and they
You
just.
want to give it over? You want to let everybody
I
know
might
your
as well
number?
at this point.
If it's like mine, they already got it anyway.
Yeah, but I've noticed that because me just showing up to these people that have not had that connection has made a huge difference. We've peeled back the layers of all the problems, and now when something arises, they call me. I find the resource they need, and we fix the problem.
See, I didn't, up in probably till the past couple of months, I didn't really understand what you did for the hospital. All I know I don't know if it was, can't remember if we were putting out pumpkins or we were putting out Christmas lights at the hospital.
Wait.
Yeah.
What are we talking
What I'm
about?
getting-
Because I was getting a phone call from her dad about something. What are you talking about, pumpkins?
Wow.
Where we go
We're
from?
talking
He's
about
telling a story.
what she does. Yeah, you get to tell stories all the time. I'm telling a story. So I'm out there at the
Don't get me
hospital,
started.
either putting out Halloween decorations or maybe it was Christmas decorations, and out of nowhere she pulls up with a carload of steaks. And I mean, she opens up the door, and that is, I mean, everybody out there just like stopped working.
Carload of what?
Steaks. Like grilled steak.
Ribeyes?
Like ribeyes, yes. And I mean, to the point where everybody is like, stop working, and we're just like dogs with our nose in the air. And she walks in the ER with a bunch of steak, and I was like, I don't know what she does, but I might have her job one day.
I absolutely love my job for that reason alone. But we had a Christmas party and we had leftovers, and we take care of our people. I mean, I love just the overall morale in that hospital when you walk through the halls. I don't know if y'all can tell, but it is a positive working atmosphere. Like, I love going to work, and that is what Mike, I mean, my job is an extension of him. Where he can't be, I am. And he has made it his mission to get quality doctors and to make it a place where you want to come to work. And he is doing that on a daily basis.
Mike is a fantastic individual, and I ain't just saying that. And not only do I have a professional relationship with the hospital, I also have in the private sector a relationship with the hospital. And I can honestly say,
Will you mow the grass?
I am a vendor. I guess we'll stay technical and not just throw everything out there. But no, so we are the hospital's oldest vendor, and a lot of people don't know that. So what I'm getting at is I've seen a lot of changes in that hospital.
We all have.
And I can say right now, it's running about as nice as it ever has.
When you get
And
the
I
right
think-
people in place, that's
And that's
key.
with anything.
That's
And I
key.
think with him, I mean, his story is he started out as a respiratory therapist. So when you start somewhere at the bottom and you work your way up to the top, you know the things that need to take place. Is that your story?
Me, for
too?
example, I started as a night shift part-time jailer in 1972.
Oh.
You're fired.
Do the math.
Do the math.
I've been at the hospital now about 15 years, and I can honestly say when I first started working there in 2010, there were so many things that I didn't love about it, but I could see the potential that was there. And it's been really a joy to sit back and watch the right people move into the right places and see the good things that are happening in the community. And to know that the people that you work with have your back, that the relationships in the community, like you guys, dispatch, EMS, all of the things that you can work so well together and make good things happen. It's not always been this way, and it's really wonderful to see it happening like it's
Sure it
happening.
I agree.
is. I mean, y'all are our little small town hospital. I'll tell you a funny story. This weekend, I was in my POV, and I just turned left on Flatwoods Road, and I see a woman run across the road with her cell phone to her ear. And as I get closer, Blake, you probably know where I'm talking about. There's that small area there on Flatwoods where there's some trailers. I don't know what it used to be called. It used to be the Flatwoods Trailer Park or whatever. But anyway, there's a guy in the yard and a woman doing chest compressions on this guy in this yard when I pull up. So I get out and I go over and I ask her what she needs. She was just a passerby like me that just happened to know CPR. The woman that was on the phone has got dispatch on the phone, and she's in pure panic mode, you know. So me and the woman take over doing chest compressions, and I'm checking for a pulse, and this woman is not able to relay anything over to dispatch because she's just, I guess it was her boyfriend or her husband or something. So anyway, I get the phone and I get the dispatcher and I said, hey, this is the sheriff. I'm here, we're doing CPR. He's trying to come around a little bit, but everything's good, and I hang it up. Well then, Etheridge EMR pulls up about that time, and the two guys that come over and take over are two of my deputies that work part-time for the fire department. So we're all three right there, me, two of my part-time deputies that volunteer for a fire department, and the passerby are all right there working together to save this guy's life. It's a pretty cool story, and it just kind of lets people know about what a little small town we have.
Everything turned out okay?
As far as I know,
Good.
like I said, he was, well, I talked to the chief of police in Etheridge later. I mean, the fire chief, assistant fire chief. I'll get it right in a minute. And he said he was, once they administered Narcan, he was alert and talking.
That's where I was fixing to go with my
Just a
next
few
question.
minutes later. You know, don't take long with Narcan. I know y'all have seen it, and I know you've seen it. It's still one of the most amazing things. Have you ever seen somebody come back from being Narcan? It's one of the most amazing things you'll ever see.
Yeah,
I mean, somebody that is pretty much dead. I mean, they're taking a breath every 6-8 seconds. I mean, their pulse is down to nothing, and you administer that Narcan, and they're back. It's the craziest thing you ever seen.
We had a guy the other day over at the laundromat, and the call.
I drove by that one too.
The call came in. I think something like subject appeared to be going down, and he's going out into the parking lot. And we get there, and there's a guy. I mean, laid flat on his back, eyes are that wide open, not breathing, and you cannot feel a pulse. Okay, and not to toot my own horn, I've been to EMTIV school. I know how to check for a pulse. No, he was going downhill. And they bagged, we hit him twice with Narcan, and they bagged him. And then EMS got there. They loaded him up pretty quickly, started hitting him with more Narcan. And then just all of a sudden, kind of like that story you told out of Summertown, just all of a sudden he was like, just sat right up. Of course, that's kind of startling, because he goes from he's dead to he's up looking around. And, everybody's like, whoa, you're in an ambulance. You went down, we're here, everything's good, nobody's in trouble. And he's just looking around like, what happened?
There is no telling, and I would like to have the numbers, I really would, how many overdose deaths we would have had in 2023 if Narcan wasn't available.
Well, you can get that. Go on DI3. The meth task force, their website.
They keep up with
DI3, because what they ask from us is anytime law enforcement has to administer Narcan, that we send in a report. And I don't know, we do it? Are y'all sending?
Idea. No, I have no idea.
Well, you need to get in touch with Nikki. She'll get that set up.
I wonder if we couldn't get it locally through dispatch.
You can. I don't know about dispatch.
Overdose deaths, though, compared to Narcan being administered.
I know you can.
I would just like to know. There's no telling how many lives Narcan saved just in Narcan.
I report numbers from a hospital perspective to the Substance Abuse Coalition, so I know they have some type of put together report for the county anyway.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one page. You go in there, subject information, was Narcan administered by law enforcement, EMS, or other? Did the subject live, not live? It's good numbers.
I think I'm gonna see if Marty can put that on this report. Because he can pick and choose about, this is our monthly printout on calls. Anybody want to take a guess on how many calls we had in in January?
This is dispatch calls for you.
This is county, just county, not including Loretta, Lawrenceburg, Etheridge, and St. Bell.
For the month of what?
January.
Okay.
Which includes traffic stops, which includes anything that generates a cab.
Like calls about dogs too.
I got that information.
That's
If you would
the
like to
majority
have
of
that, I
it.
just happen to
You
have
would be
that right
shocked.
here. Dog traffic, 26.
Seriously?
26 calls.
in January.
How many
That's
livestock
not
calls?
counting.
I saw one livestock. That's why. Is that
20
what it's
hang on,
classified as?
Bear with me. I'll give it to you. 27, 28. And then you got to go down here. 30. And then there's one more. 30 plus 11 is 41 plus 10, 51.
51 animal calls.
Animal calls
In January.
Mm-hmm.
That's including livestock in the road,
Well,
animal cruelty.
I bet a lot of those
animal
were
neglect.
during the snowstorm, people neglecting their
Oh,
animals
yeah,
and leaving them outside.
Mm-hmm, sure did.
So how many overall calls do y'all have?
Anybody get? Come on, we got to guess.
I can't guess
you
'cause
win.
I
You
know.
You get to play with my switchblade.
What was your
for
just
the rest
dog
of the
call?
show if you
What was
get
your just dog call? I didn't catch that.
just dog or animal?
Just dog.
I think you said 26.
26. Well, that's what ours was.
Gosh, I wouldn't even know.
So 52 dog calls in the county, not counting Loretta, St. Joe, and Etheridge.
Not counting, that's probably loose dogs or something. There was 51 calls total, including, and that includes,
Animals.
like I said, animal neglect,
Cows in the roadway.
cows in the roadway, all that
All right,
stuff.
so how many calls do you have?
Yes.
92.
What?
92.
Oh, she's got
Just 90. We
she's
just
got to
said
do
we
a
had
ride
50
along.
something. We had 50 something
I
animal calls.
have no idea. I have no concept.
Well, what about if you look at all these numbers? Will that help?
I just see 2 sheets. Oh, it's front and back. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 400.
God bless you.
270.
I wished.
What are you saying?
The city, for the county,
Mhm.
I'm gonna say 770.
What about you over there, Maddie Hyde?
I know how many. I do the report.
Was you just looking at it, or how can you know it?
Because it's always around the same amount every month.
How many do you have?
1,300. Or
1,007.
Wow.
well,
Now, do you want to hear about
I've
the
seen some. I've
That
seen some
includes-
that's
Just in
been
January?
1,300.
That
in January.
includes
I know it was over
Like, what
1,000.
is, this can range from like.
117 traffic stops. That includes all of our mental transports, all of our funeral escorts.
A funeral
Um,
I would have never thought about that.
Yeah,
That's
that's anything that
Okay.
generates.
How many do you think the city of Lawrenceburg had?
Y'all generally right there close.
How many arrests did you
I'm gonna
have?
say.
950.
I was just fixing to say 900.
That's just in the city
just in
limits.
Lawrenceburg.
How many arrests did you have?
Do you go to funerals? Like, do you
I don't have
do
that.
escorts?
Yes, day shift does.
That's
So I thought I saw you
that's
at one
usually
this week.
attached with a
Yeah,
little yellow.
because we got to
post
get them
on
out
it.
of the city. If it's if the cemetery's in the county,
Okay.
or if the cemetery is in the city, then we have to take care of everything. I'd love to be respectful. Hey, and that's another thing. I don't know what it is, since we're on this topic. I want to say thank you to people when they pull over on the side of the road. First of all, thank you, because not everybody pulls over to the side of the road. But I can't tell you how many, ain't just my older guys, but how many of my younger guys I'm seeing now. They'll take their hat off and they'll throw it on the dash, or they'll take their hat off and they'll hold it over their heart. And I'm sorry, you probably go to Nashville, you won't see that. And it's just, when I'm leading a funeral, I get to see the reactions of everybody pulling over. And I can't say that everybody's being nice about it. You know, you can tell people are, it's a funeral and I'm going to be held up. But I see a lot of that. And I think it's nice, and it says something about our people.
Sure does. You guys look good. Y'all do a good job. I led one. Well, I saw
That's
you
the same
there. Is
day
that the
I
one
saw.
you was talking about?
I had Buffalo Road that day.
Yeah, I led that. That was the day before yesterday,
Mhm.
or yesterday, whenever it was. Yeah, you guys do a good job. Y'all look good.
Thank you.
Standing out there in the intersection, all sharp and snapping that salute. You got to snap that salute, though. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yep.
You got to snap it.
Taps is playing, you can be a little bit more slow, but when a car's going by, snap it. How many arrests y'all have?
I was trying to
she would
find
have
it.
to look. Y'all want to know how many people I got in jail? Let's talk about the jail for a minute. That's always everybody's saying. You know how many beds we have in the jail? Didn't you go through that leadership
I
of Lawrence
did.
County? Remember how many
Oh,
beds?
don't quiz me. 200 something?
Mm-hmm.
56?
No, close. 262.
I did better than with that number. Than
You
the
did.
other.
You was close compared to your calls for service.
So how full are you?
I've got 180. So that means I've got 82 beds available. Now this was as of Monday morning at around 9 o'clock. That number might not be right on now. Males, I've got 28, 38, 48, 45, 55, 52. I've got 152 males. The rest are females. And that's not that bad. What is that, 28? Is that right?
So
This breaks it down, and I mean, y'all can look at this. This breaks it down to pretrial versus sentenced. Holy crap, this guy's got a $218,000 bond.
What
Wonder what he
percentage of
did.
those would you say is drug related?
Related?
Mm-hmm.
well, see, so that's
I've
a
got-
category, and then
I
you got
know.
subcategories because you got a lot of people that are in jail for theft to
because,
support their
yeah.
drug habit.
Yeah.
I have got our JMS, our operating system for the jail, does all kinds of cool stuff, and I'm all the time getting the girl up front to give me a pie chart. I can tell you that right now we've got an 85% recidivism rate right now. 85% of them are second, third, and fourth time offenders. I could probably find out, but man, that'd be a lot of legwork, because you might have somebody now that is clean that was on probation for a drug charge and then picked up another charge for theft or something. So I mean, I would say out of everybody, out of the 180, I would dare to say it's in the 90-something%.
Wow.
I would dare to say, especially all of your petty crime, what I call petty crimes, your misdemeanor thefts and vandalisms and stuff like that.
And I'd say you're being conservative with that number. Me personally, I would say at bare minimum 70% of the people.
I mean, I could tell you how many are in there for a drug charge, but drug related, I mean, that's going to be a bunch. That's going to be way up there. We had some girls. You know, I'm always talking about all the programs we offer in jail. If you come to Lawrence County Jail with a problem, whether it's an addiction or whatever, and you don't get the help you need, it's on you, because there's more stuff in the jail right now than there's ever been. And we had a graduation destination success. I'm just now reading this for the first time. They put this on. It's positive reentry. It's a certification. And I'm trying to see how many girls that went through. It's Writer's Workshop, I don't know what that is, for career pathways, reentry, soft job skills, life skills, and resources to support the students' efforts of improvement. But anyway, it's pretty cool when you see these people in jail, you know, and they go through one of the programs and they're a better person. They've got, I mean, I've had them get their GED equivalent in there. I've had them get their driver's license in there. You know, we have the work program that they can go out and work every day and make money, and then they can apply that towards the restitution and their fines. And
so just like the hospital, the jail in Lawrence County is so different today than it was 19 years ago when I started. In 2004, Lawrence County Jail consisted of a 32-man bed jail with, I mean, it was nothing to have 105 people in jail. The drunk tank, there were 2, okay, and that drunk tank became a permanent jail cell because they were so crowded. And then you had that nasty 4x4, the hole.
The hole.
Listen,
we can't put people in there no more.
I'm telling you,
It's not
and
civil.
it hurts me, because I used to put inmates in there all the time
my
that were
gosh.
really being mean and doing ugly stuff, and they would be the nicest people 4 hours after being in that 4x4.
Well, I mean,
bed.
could you imagine? Did he not
It's
show that to
literally-
y'all when
it's a
y'all
4x4.
toured it?
No lie.
Yeah, we didn't open it though.
And there is
Oh.
there is a 4-inch hole in the concrete, and at that time that's what they had to do their business. And generally, if you went to the hole, you went to the hole naked. That way, you didn't have to worry about someone hanging themselves, because, like he said, after 4 hours in the hole, you're contemplating changing your religion. It's horrible.
I mean, could you imagine being in that hole for 4
I can't
hours?
imagine it being a big guy or a big gal in
Hey, I
there.
put a guy in there. He was like 7 foot tall. He was like a college
No.
basketball player. All he could do is stand. I don't even think he could squat. He was so tall.
That's crazy. But no, and now don't get me wrong. You didn't go to the hoe for back talking. Okay, you didn't go to the hoe for cussing a COA. You did something, you know, pretty bad. But what I'm getting at is, besides having church on Wednesday and Sunday nights, I cannot remember the jail offering any of these services.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, until you just talked about it, I knew that y'all had some services, but I didn't know what all, you know,
Well,
and included.
aren't they able to do, like, the men are able to do things with welding and get certified in welding and stuff like that also?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm answering. It's chief deputy in another county's texting me something. Yeah, we have TCAT, welding, and something else. I can't remember what it is.
But somebody recently graduated that program from the jail. I remember seeing it in the news.
Yeah, we have two factories, two companies here locally that pay inmates to come work every day for them. One is Southern Craft in Loretta, and the other one is ADS here in Lawrenceburg. One of them gets a couple, one of them gets three, but the inmates that are working there have to work their way up to that job. So they'll start out maybe as an inside trustee, and then they'll maybe graduate up to an outside trustee, and then maybe they'll go on one of our programs where they don't get paid. Like we have some that goes to the dump and helps Gary Wayne up there sort recycling. Then we have a litter pickup crew that goes out there and picks up litter.
Do y'all have a program where they can learn CPR?
Who?
The inmates. What better chance? Because, I mean, okay, so we talk about recidivism, all right? We're talking about people going down and having to be Narcaned. So what about some education in administering Narcan and basic CPR?
Hands-only CPR is a big push right now.
What is?
Hands-only CPR. Like, I'm not going to put my mouth on a stranger and risk an exposure to something. But we are a chest pain accredited facility at the hospital, and I have to educate the community on hands-only CPR. So I do this in multiple places, school systems,
Sounds like you just got
businesses.
How do we feel about doing it with people in jail?
Well, Blake's there. I'm kidding. I mean,
Not the sheriff,
Sounds
just
like
Blake.
you just talked yourself.
Hey, I'm all about education.
She said if Blake's there, but she didn't say if
No.
the sheriff's there.
I think y'all would know. Y'all would know who's okay to have a class and who's not. I mean,
And listen, not everybody in jail is a bad guy.
No, I say
Yeah.
that all the time.
Not every woman in jail is a bad girl, and I think that's very important. But no, I was just thinking,
That's a great idea.
what a good way to get some education, because again, a lot of these people coming out of jail are going to go back to dope, unfortunately. Okay, and just maybe if we can educate them a little bit, maybe even though they're not going to stop, maybe they can save somebody's life, or at least put them on hold for another 3 months. You know, that's
I tell you what I did one time. We had a guy hang himself in the jail. Well, I mean, he was successful. He didn't kill himself, but he successfully tied a sheet around the railing going upstairs into one of the day rooms in a pod. And he tied it. He sat down and he tied it, and then nobody saw him, and then he just climbed over the rail and dropped. Well, there was one other inmate sitting on one of the metal picnic tables, and I watched the video, and it's and you know the inmate. I'm not one. He's a multi-time offender, and he's sitting there on the bench, and you see him. He turns around, he goes, and then it's like it dawns on him what this guy's done. He springs into action, goes over there, grabs him around his legs and takes some of the weight off of him, and yells for the jailer that's just outside the door. He runs in, another jailer runs in, they shove him out of the way, and one holds him up while the other one goes up there and cuts the sheet and saves the guy's life. Well, when he walks away, when they shove him out of the way, you can tell he tweaked his back. You know, he's hurting. So anyway, I brought him up to the office after they showed me the video, and long story short, I went to the DA's office and went to the judge, and we got an early release on him, and he got out like a couple of days later. He still had like 30 or 60 days left, but
cool.
I talked him into letting him out early. But yeah, if he wouldn't have been there and ran over and did what he did, probably wouldn't have made it. And you know what would have happened if I'd have had a successful hanging in the jail.
It would be no good.
Exactly. But yeah, I went up to bat for him, and he got out.
Has he been
I think
back
he's been back
since?
in.
Your story was good till then.
I know.
Yeah, well, yeah. This guy was when they told me who he was doing time in the jail when I worked there 100 years ago. So he's been He's a frequent
How many
flyer,
minutes is that?
but that's millions. How much time we got?
We got 10 minutes.
What y'all want to talk about now?
What have
Y'all
we?
want to talk about the border?
Well-
To the border?
They may have some information that we didn't cover.
Well, I was going to say, because you were comparing the jail and the hospital, like the changes that have taken place. I mean, the technology, I was shocked by what we have at the hospital when I came back out there. Like, people don't realize in our community that we have a hyperbaric chamber in our
Do
wound
we?
center.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I mean, on top of inpatient rehab that people don't know we have this technology that is right here in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee that you can't get in a lot of different surrounding areas.
That is amazing.
So what does that do?
Depends on what type of sickness
What
you're
we use
experiencing.
it for, it's in our advanced wound care center, and we heal wounds with it. So
Really?
people dive, and it helps to heal their wounds.
My little sister, about 10 years ago, had the most logged hours in a hyperbaric chamber. I don't know if it was at Vandy, maybe Skyline. She got bit by a brown recluse.
Oh, wow.
And at one point they thought that she was going to have to lose her leg. So with the grace of God, some very, very, very educated doctors in the hyperbaric chamber, she not only got to keep her leg, but the amount of damage that it did to her leg, the muscle and everything else, was dramatically reduced by the hyperbaric chamber. That's cool. So now, see, I dive.
Okay.
I dive. And we've got quarries around here that we can go diving in. And now it's nice to know that if I'm stupid and not following the rules and I get the bends, I've got a hyperbaric chamber right here at home.
Right here.
Right here.
It was
That's
so
great.
cool yesterday. We also went into Career Connections at the high school. They're starting this at all the high schools. We were touching on that a second ago, but we went into Loretto this week, and yesterday was Lawrence County High School. We went in and talked to all the students, but one of the students stopped me and she said, I've been in there. I just had this terrible accident and something with her leg, and it was just so cool to listen to her tell the rest of her class about this great experience that she had at the hospital.
That's good. I mean, we're getting bigger and better. You know, now we got Dr. Thomas here.
And the robot that he uses,
We have a very
top
cool
notch.
Mako robot
That's
for
crazy.
ortho. You know, Dr. Thomas is here, like you said. We have cardiology now. Dr. Cole, he's fantastic. New general surgeon. Lots of great things happening.
And they'll come help you out of your car if you hurt yourself.
We will.
Both of us.
We will.
Wow, they're laughing.
Yeah, we might laugh
Well,
at
they
you
come out with a
depending on the
wheelchair, and I
severity.
said, "There's no way in heck I'm going in a wheelchair."
Well, we
Just let
waited
me-
until his back got to us before we were like, you know,
Yeah.
giggling about it.
I heard that. So if you fall, call ahead.
Right.
If you fall and decide to drive
Don't
yourself,
come
call
help you, but
ahead.
They're just going to be laughing.
Yeah,
If
we
you
might
fall,
giggle
call.
depending on the
Yeah.
severity.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that I might have got better treatment because of the title that I have. I don't think so.
I don't
but,
think so either.
But they
No.
took really
Yeah,
good. They
I
took
had
really
nothing
good
to
care
do
of
with
me. They did. They took
Sure,
really good
Peach.
care of me. I
You're a
felt.
peach.
I felt really loved. What else y'all want to say?
Let's talk about the border.
The border was great. I went down there on a Monday morning and stayed Monday afternoon, Monday night, and then Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, I came back Tuesday night.
Who all did you go down there
Went
with?
down there with Bill Haggerty and his team. You know, he's on, I think, the Homeland Security, one of the Homeland Security committees or something. Glenn Jacobs, the tall
That was mine.
Knox County. That's right, you're from over there. Knox County Mayor, he's there. Kane, actually had some pretty funny conversations with him. He's a really cool dude. A couple other mayors, couple other DAs, 3 other sheriffs. Haggerty's team released a pretty cool video. They posted it to Twitter the other day, and I stole it and shared it last night. But yeah, it was a great trip. I learned so much about the border. You know, until you go down there and you put your feet in the dirt and you see it with your own eyes and you listen to everybody down there, because you got National Guard, you got Texas National Guard, Tennessee's sending some down this week or next week to help with their efforts. They've got Border Patrol, they've got state police, county sheriff's deputies, fish and game, everybody in this effort down there to close that border. Because Governor Abbott, when he declared a state of emergency down there, Operation Lone Star is what it's called, and they're securing the whole southern border all the way up to the state line. And it's a massive effort. And I think y'all have heard or saw the Shelby Park in Texas, where they had to, the federal government sued Texas
of the wire.
because of the wire.
Yes.
Made them move it or whatever. Well, they're just like, no, we're taking care of our business. So anyway, we went down there and met with a sheriff. This sheriff has got, Lawrence County is 620 square miles. This sheriff's county is 1,400 square miles.
Wow.
And he's got 6 deputies.
Oh my God.
And how many do you have?
I got 100.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He is overwhelmed. And before this influx of all the illegal immigrants, he could handle it. But now, because they don't have a huge population, but now they're overwhelmed. We went into his courthouse, and his courthouse, he said we had court one day a month 3 or 4 years ago. Now we have it every week. And it's packed with illegals because they charge them with criminal trespassing when they catch them.
So how many do they have just trying to cross in this area?
The whole time under the last presidential administration, they had 95,000 attempts in that Eagle Pass. Since the current,
I was going to say, you're fixing to hear a big number.
current presidents in the White House, it's 990,000 illegal encounters.
Fox News released today, and I could be off on my numbers, but under Trump, under his administration, 1,700,000 illegal crossings. Okay, we're talking 4 years. As of today, and he's still got, 6 more months to go? As of today, 1,700,000. As of today, I think there was 7,200,000. So 8 million is gonna.
Well, you know why? That was the question that I had.
And that's what we know.
Why is there more? Why are there more people trying to come into this country? The reason why is because now, if you get captured, all you have to do is say that you're seeking political asylum. There used to be a lengthy process. If you got caught coming into America and you said, I'm seeking asylum, then it was a lengthy process, and you was assigned like an adjudicator, an investigator, and they questioned you about your claims and investigated what you were saying. And then if they thought, okay, there's probable cause to hold on to you, you are seeking political asylum, you're given a court date and you have to come back. Now, all you have to do is say, I'm seeking political asylum. They say, fill out that paperwork. You fill that out. They give you a court date. They fingerprint you and photograph you. Give you a prepaid card and a cell phone, and they ship you off somewhere. And guess when the court date is?
I was thinking, saying, it's my understanding the court dates are anywhere between 2 and 4 years away.
2032.
Okay, so that's
Are
about
you
8 years
kidding me?
away.
2032. So who's going to come back for that court date once you get kicked out? Once they bust you up to somewhere,
Oh.
and so word's out, and that's the reason why there's so many people coming across, is because now all they have to do is say that they're seeking political asylum, and they're in. They're not even, the cartels are not even bringing them all the way in. They get them to the border and kick them out and say, just get caught and tell them you're seeking political asylum. That was the whole reason why they put up all the wire on the Rio Grande. And the Rio Grande is not a very deep body of water right there where we were at, but it's real swift. Current is just rolling.
It's like a fast Buffalo River.
Yeah, and I think the water temperature was only like 62 degrees, but still that's cold at night.
It is.
And I mean, they're recovering bodies out of there all the time. You know, they're trying to get across, and it's just too much for smaller kids and stuff. And then we went to a 55,000 acre ranch and talked to a 7th generation rancher. They'd never seen it as bad. He was showing us pictures of the stuff that he finds when he's out there checking his fences, because they come across and trash his fences and his cows get out. And what's the morning after pill? What's it called?
What, Plan B?
Never had to
B.
use it. I can't tell you.
Plan B. Yeah. So he said it's not uncommon to pick up hundreds of boxes of Plan B, where these little girls that's coming across, they know they're going to get raped. They know that's going to happen. So they stock up on that so they don't come
That's
across rape.
awful.
It's the saddest thing you've ever seen. And our tax dollars are not only encouraging it. Did you know that there are like towers with flashing strobes on them that you can see for miles? And if you are on foot and you've come across the border, if you can make it to one of those flashing lights, there's food and water and a charging station for your cell phone.
Wow.
So, and our tax dollars are paying for that. So not only are we encouraging them to come across, we're showing them the way if you get lost. I've never seen anything like it. If anybody, and those guys are vocal down there too. We didn't think they would be vocal, just because, it's such a touchy subject. But they were willing to just say it all, and nobody was happy with what's going on. Nobody's happy with the current administration. Nobody's happy with the failures down there on that border. And of course, all your landowners, your property owners, your business owners, they're all going broke because everybody's leaving because the illegals are taking over. It's a sad problem, and if we don't get it fixed this year, I'm afraid there's going to be a coordinated attack in this country, because even Syrians, there's so many people coming across the border that are from terrorist countries, military-age men coming into this country, and they're treated exactly the same. They're treated unless you're on the terrorist watch list. Now they'll detain you for a little while, and they might even kick you out. But there was 18 Syrians come across that rancher's property, and he called Border Patrol, and they was like, "You're on your own. We're too busy."
That's great. He must have.
So what does he do, like, when they cross over? Does he have to call Border Patrol? What does he do?
The rancher?
Yeah.
He is so frustrated he don't do anything anymore. He just runs them off.
And I don't blame him. I mean,
He just runs them off.
you did say 55,000 acres, right?
Yeah.
That is like 86 square miles. 86 square mile farm. That's crazy.
Your math is on
Really
point
good.
today, man.
Who was your math teacher?
Usually
Same
it's
as
me.
mine.
That was well, she hated it.
I guarantee he had his phone out. He just looked it up.
No, he didn't.
No, I mean seriously,
Okay.
but there's 640 acres in 1 square mile. So yeah, I wouldn't do a thing. You get close to my house, I'm probably gonna shoot you.
But I mean,
besides
I'm
that,
sure
I'm
that
gonna
he probably did, like, the first year when it started progressively getting bad
Oh, yeah, he
during
said
this
that. Yeah,
administration, and
he said
then by the time this last year, he's like, forget it. But
Yeah,
I was just wondering, I mean,
he's frustrated like everybody else down there is, and they're real vocal about it. They don't care to tell you. It's a sad situation. I'm telling you, with all the military age men that's in this country now, I'm afraid there's going to be an attack like in October in Israel.
Right.
They're going to coordinate it, and they're going to hit multiple cities at one time.
Well, we learned a lot from Vietnam. And when you attack a man on his home soil, you have a fight. But when you attack men who have the highest percentage of firearms in the world on their own soil, you may hurt us, but you ain't gonna take us over.
well, it's everybody.
But there's going to be a lot of innocent people get killed because
There
they're
will.
going to hit high threat, high visibility targets. I
Mhm.
mean, and you know how they are. I mean, take Nashville, take Memphis for example. I mean, that's not small town America. They're not going to be prepared for anything like what happened. It's going to be a bad deal. But I hope we can get it fixed this year. How much time?
We're out.
Yeah, we're done.
All right. Well, thank y'all for coming.
Thank you for having us.
We'll do it again next time. Maybe what? We need to rotate them in between the game wardens.
There's a lot of employees over there that would love to talk to y'all too.
There's what?
A lot of other employees over there. I think we've got 400 something, so if you want anybody else,
We can arrange it.
Yeah.
Just let us know.
Well, okay, but I mean, we're good with y'all, if y'all wanna come back, but if you'd rather send somebody else, we're good with that too.
All right, everybody say bye.
We're out, bye.
Bye.